Some Democrats now apparently feeling the effects of the long partisan impeachment on Capitol Hill this week, specifically over the president. As the New York Times puts it, Trump anxiety has morphed into anxiety about everything. Joining me now, Danielle Moodie Mills, host of WokeAF Daily and co-host of the podcast Democracy-ish, and Democratic strategist Peter Emerson. Welcome to you both. Guys, according to the New York Times, for the last 3 years, therapists have reported an increase in patients who say that almost anything having to do with politics is making them uneasy, angry, and hopeless. It's a condition that one psychologist christened Trump anxiety disorder. Danielle, how nervous are Democrats right now? How anxious are they?
I mean, I think that Democrats are incredibly anxious and nervous and depressed, frankly. There is a lot of grief that is happening right now. As if you think about watching a loved one waste away, that's kind of what's happening right now to our democracy. We are watching Republicans trample over our values, trample over the law, doing everything that they can to uphold a lawless criminal president. And it's depressing, it's saddening. I've asked my own therapist what other patients are saying, and she said that she has a lot of people that are coming in that are anxious about all aspects of the world right now.
Yeah, well, listen, I know so many people that they just say, I just can't talk about politics. They want to talk about anything but at times. But Peter, you have Michelle Goldberg, who was writing a piece in the New York Times, and it was titled, "Democracy Grief is Real." And here's what she said, that the president will almost certainly be impeached for extorting Ukraine to aid his reelection. He is equally certain to be acquitted in the Senate, a tacit confirmation that he is indeed above the law. His attorney general is a shameless partisan enforcer. Professional civil servants are purged, replaced by apparatchiks. The courts are filling up with young, hard-right ideologues. Peter, you're a diehard Democrat. Do you feel a sense of democracy grief?
Oh, it's more than grief. Danielle is absolutely right. I was looking up a wonderful quote from the Nobel laureate Wole Soyinka. I want to apologize for mispronouncing his name, who said simply, you either have a constitution or you do not. You either have a law or laws or you do not. And that's why Danielle's so right. I mean, from the president to elected Republicans to the voters who voted for them, they have decided not only do we not have a constitution or rule of law, we don't need them.
So if we look at, not exclusively, but where much of this comes from. Thursday, the president sent a total of 123 tweets and retweets in 24 hours. That, by the way, a new personal record. Pretty astonishing, those numbers. One of those tweets was attacking the 16-year-old climate activist Greta Thunberg after she was named Time Magazine's Person of the Year. How concerning is that kind of behavior, Peter?
It just adds to another list of sexual assault, sexual harassment of women. This time it's a 16-year-old by a man who practices this and has ever since apparently he drew breath and continues to do it. But the cowardice, there's a new definition of cowardice here. To attack a woman, a 16-year-old woman. I have a goddaughter who's 16 years old and who has Asperger's syndrome. To attack them is a new definition of cowardice. And frankly, I want to give as few words to this as possible because simply the reason he did that, one, besides being a bully and having no compassion or empathy, is also because the attention was being drawn away from him. And this was a way to get it back, and look what we're doing.
What's interesting, Danielle, lots of criticism from Melania Trump's silence. You had the White House, her office issuing a release statement to CNN saying that Be Best is the First Lady's initiative. She will continue to use it to do all she can to help children. It is no secret that the president and First Lady often communicate differently, as most married couples do. Their son is not an activist who travels the globe giving speeches. He is a 13-year-old who wants and deserves privacy. So relative to that, but also to the 16-year-old, climate activist. Does Melania Trump hold any responsibility here? Can she do anything?
Melania Trump, no. Why are we looking to Melania Trump to do anything? The woman wore a jacket that said, "I don't care, do you?" When she went to go visit children that are in a detention center. So no, I don't look to Melania to do anything. And as a matter of fact, I think that her faux outrage around her son is ridiculous. She has a campaign called Be Best, and it's about protecting people from bullying, and yet she's living with the biggest bully in the entire world. It's absolutely ridiculous. And to go after, like Peter said, to go after a 16-year-old child on Twitter because your ego is that fragile, it's problematic.
You know, guys, I'm just going to let that be the last word right now. I think we're all a little tired of it for today. There's that. Danielle and Peter, thank you so much.
Thank you.